The mining vessel times Defiant times drifted through the asteroid belt, its hull scarred with countless micro-impacts from space debris. To any observer, it looked like just another human cargo hauler struggling to make ends meet in the Outer Rim territories. The ship's exterior bore the weathered paint of a vessel that had seen too many years in the void, too many dangerous runs through pirate-infested space. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge, watching the scanner displays with practiced eyes. Her crew of 12 was small for a ship this size, but they had been together for 8 years. Each person aboard the Defiant times had their own reasons for being out here, far from Earth's protection and the safety of the inner colonies. "Captain, we're getting some strange readings on long-range sensors," reported Lieutenant Marcus Webb from the sensor station. His voice carried a note of concern that made Chen's attention sharpen immediately. "What kind of readings?" Chen asked, moving to look over his shoulder at the display. The screen showed a cluster of contacts moving in formation, still several hours away at their current speed. Multiple ships, definitely not human design. "They're big, Captain. Really big. And they're heading straight for us." Chen felt her stomach tighten. Out here in the asteroid belt, there were no patrol ships, no military backup. The Defiant times and her crew were completely alone. She had hoped to complete their mining operation and return to the inner systems without encountering any of the alien raiders that had been plaguing human shipping lanes. "How many ships?" she asked quietly. 7 contacts confirmed. The lead ship is massive, probably a battlecruiser class. The others look like destroyers or heavy frigates. Chen closed her eyes for a moment, thinking fast. The Defiant times, was armed, but not heavily. Most mining vessels carried basic defensive weapons, maybe a few missile tubes and some point defense guns. Against 7 warships, they would be completely outmatched in any conventional fight. "Time to intercept?" she asked. 4 hours, 18 minutes at their current approach vector. Chen nodded slowly, then activated the ship's internal communications system. "All hands. This is the captain. Report to battle stations. We have incoming hostiles. This is not a drill." The bridge erupted in controlled activity as her crew rushed to their positions. Chen watched them work with pride. These people had followed her through dangerous situations before, and they trusted her to get them home alive. Chief Engineer Rodriguez appeared on the bridge, his face grim. "Captain, I can give you full power to engines or weapons, but not both. The fusion reactor is running hot as it is." "Weapons," Chen said without hesitation. "If we're going to make it through this, we'll need every bit of firepower we can manage." "Yes, ma'am." As the hours passed, the alien fleet drew closer. Chen used the time to study their approach patterns and ship configurations. The aliens were clearly confident, maintaining a loose formation that spoke of casual superiority. They weren't expecting any real resistance from a single human mining ship. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission," announced communications specialist Lisa Park. "It's coming from the lead alien vessel." "Put it on screen." The view screen flickered to life, showing the bridge of the alien ship. The creature that appeared was tall and thin, with pale blue skin and 4 arms. Its eyes were large and dark, set in a face that showed no emotion whatsoever. "Human vessel," the alien spoke in accented but clear English. "You will surrender your ship and cargo immediately. Your crew will be taken as slaves to serve the Zorvani Empire. Any resistance will result in immediate destruction." Chen stepped forward, making sure she was visible on the transmission. "This is Captain Chen of the independent mining vessel Defiant **. We are operating under salvage rights in this sector. You have no legal claim to our cargo or our freedom." The alien's expression didn't change. "Legal claims are irrelevant. The strong take what they will from the weak. Your species has proven itself weak time and again. Surrender now, or be destroyed." "We choose neither," Chen replied calmly. "We choose to fight." The alien seemed genuinely surprised by her response. "Fight? You pilot a mining vessel against 7 warships. Your weapons are primitive. Your hull is weak. You cannot possibly believe you can win." "Maybe not," Chen admitted. "But we're humans. We don't surrender. Ever." The alien's expression shifted slightly, showing what might have been confusion or contempt. Your species' reputation for stubbornness is well known throughout the galaxy, but stubbornness cannot overcome superior firepower. You have one final chance to surrender. The answer is still no. The transmission ended abruptly. Chen turned back to her crew, who were all watching her with expressions of grim determination. "You heard the alien," she said quietly. "They think we're weak. They think our ship is just an easy target, that our weapons are primitive, that we can't possibly win." She paused, looking at each of her crew members in turn. "They're about to learn that humans are full of surprises." Lieutenant Webb looked up from his sensors. "Captain, they're moving into attack formation. The smaller ships are spreading out to surround us. The battlecruiser is hanging back, probably planning to finish us off after the destroyers soften us up." "Perfect," Chen said with a slight smile. "That's exactly what I was hoping they'd do." Her crew exchanged glances. They had seen that smile before, usually right before Chen did something completely unexpected that somehow got them out of an impossible situation. "Chief Rodriguez," Chen called. "Are our special modifications ready?" "Yes, Captain. All systems are green and standing by." "Good. Webb, start broadcasting our mining survey data on all frequencies. Make it look like we're trying to call for help." "Broadcasting now, Captain." Chen moved to her command chair and settled into it, her fingers dancing over the control panels. The Times, Defiant Times, might look like an ordinary mining vessel, but appearances could be very deceiving. Over the years, Chen and her crew had made certain modifications that weren't listed in any official registry. "Enemy ships are closing fast," Webb reported. "They're not bothering with evasive maneuvers. Looks like they're planning to finish this quickly." "Let them come," Chen said softly. "All stations, prepare for combat. Remember, wait for my signal. No one fires until I give the word." The alien ships swept toward the Times, Defiant Times like predators closing in on wounded prey. The battlecruiser held position at long range, its weapons trained on the human vessel but not yet firing. The smaller ships moved in perfect coordination, their weapon systems powering up as they prepared to disable the mining ship with minimal damage. What the aliens didn't know was that the Times, Defiant Times, had been designed for more than mining. Hidden behind false hull plates and disguised as cargo containers, the ship carried enough firepower to take on a small fleet. Chen and her crew had spent years perfecting their disguise, appearing weak and vulnerable while hiding the fact that they were one of the most dangerous ships in human space. The lead alien destroyer opened fire, sending a beam of energy across the Times, Defiant Asterisk's bow as a warning shot. Chen didn't respond, letting her ship continue on its current course as if the crew was paralyzed with fear. "They're moving into optimal range," Webb reported quietly. "Steady," Chen whispered. "Wait for it." The alien ships closed the final distance, their commanders confident that the battle was already over. They had no idea that they were flying straight into the most dangerous trap they would ever encounter. The first alien destroyer came within 500 meters of the Times' Defiant Asterisk, its weapons charging for what should have been the killing blow. The alien commander was probably savoring his easy victory, already thinking about the slaves and salvage he would claim from this pathetic human vessel. "Now," Captain Chen said quietly, the transformation of the Times, Defiant Times, was instant and terrifying. False hull panels exploded outward, revealing rows of missile tubes and plasma cannons that had been hidden beneath the ship's innocent exterior. What had appeared to be cargo pods suddenly split open, exposing advanced sensor arrays and weapon systems that were generations ahead of anything most aliens had ever encountered. The first salvo from the Times, Defiant Times, caught the lead destroyer completely by surprise. 12 high-yield fusion missiles streaked across the gap between the ships, followed immediately by concentrated beams of plasma that burned through the alien vessel's shields as if they weren't there. The destroyer exploded in a brilliant flash of light, its debris spreading across the asteroid belt like deadly confetti. The alien crew never had time to send a distress signal or even understand what had happened to them. "Direct hit on Target 1, Webb reported, his voice filled with grim satisfaction. "Enemy vessel destroyed. Target the next closest ship," Chen ordered calmly. "Full spread, all weapons." The second destroyer tried to turn away, its commander finally realizing that this was not the easy prey they had expected. But the time's Defiant Asterisk's weapons had been specifically designed for close-range combat, and the alien ship was far too close to escape. A barrage of kinetic projectiles slammed into the destroyer's engines, crippling its ability to maneuver. Before the aliens could react, a spread of plasma torpedoes found their mark, punching through the ship's armor and detonating inside its hull. The destroyer's reactor went critical, creating a second brilliant explosion that lit up the asteroid field. 2 down, Chen announced to her crew. 5 to go. The remaining alien ships were finally beginning to respond, their formations breaking apart as commanders who had expected an easy slaughter suddenly found themselves in a real fight. The battlecruiser in the rear was powering up its main weapons, while the smaller ships tried to coordinate their attack. Enemy battlecruiser is charging weapons, Webb warned. Looks like they're preparing to fire their main guns. Let them, Chen replied. Rodriguez, give me everything you've got. I want full power to engines and weapons. You've got it, Captain. All systems at maximum. The time's Defiant Times suddenly accelerated, its hidden engines revealing their true power as the ship leaped forward like a predator pouncing on prey. The alien ships had expected a slow, clumsy mining vessel. But instead they were facing something that moved like a fighter, but hit like a battleship. The third destroyer tried to bring its weapons to bear, but the time's Defiant Times was already inside its firing arc. Too close for the destroyer's main guns to track. Chen's ship raked the alien vessel with point defense weapons, tearing through its hull, plating, and exposing the sensitive systems underneath. Enemy ship is losing atmosphere, Webb reported. Multiple hull breaches detected. Finish it, Chen ordered. A single, well-placed missile punched through the destroyer's weakened hull and detonated inside the ship's command center. The alien vessel went dark, drifting helplessly as its crew either died or abandoned ship in escape pods. The battlecruiser finally opened fire, its massive energy beams reaching across space toward the time's Defiant Asterisk. But Chen had anticipated this, and her ship was already moving, weaving between asteroids and using the rocky cover to break up the aliens' targeting solutions. Incoming fire from the battlecruiser, Webb called out. Multiple beam weapons, high energy output, evasive maneuvers, Chen ordered. Take us into the asteroid field. Let's see how well they can shoot when they can't see their target clearly. The time's Defiant Times dove into the dense part of the asteroid belt, using the rocky bodies as cover while the alien ships struggled to maintain visual contact. The battlecruiser's powerful weapons were useless if they couldn't lock onto their target, and the smaller destroyers found themselves at a severe disadvantage trying to fight in the cluttered environment. Chen's crew had trained for exactly this kind of combat, using the asteroids not just as cover but as weapons themselves. As the fourth destroyer tried to follow them into the field, Chief Engineer Rodriguez triggered a precisely placed explosive charge on a nearby asteroid. The massive rock exploded outward, sending chunks of stone and metal hurtling toward the alien ship. The destroyer's shields deflected some of the debris, but several large pieces punched through, causing critical damage to the ship's hull and systems. Enemy Destroyer 4 is crippled, Webb reported. They're trying to withdraw from the asteroid field. Don't let them, Chen replied coldly. No survivors, no witnesses. The time's Defiant Times emerged from behind a large asteroid like a ghost, its weapons already locked onto the damaged destroyer. A spread of missiles ended the alien ship's retreat permanently, adding another expanding cloud of debris to the battlefield. The remaining ships were finally showing some tactical intelligence, trying to coordinate their attacks and use their superior numbers to their advantage. But they had made a critical error by underestimating their opponent, and now they were paying the price. Captain, Communications Specialist Park announced, we're receiving transmissions from the enemy ships. They're trying to coordinate a joint attack. Can you intercept their communications? Chen asked. Already on it. They're using a fairly basic encryption system. I should be able to break it in a few minutes. Do it. Knowledge of their plans will give us the edge we need. While Park worked on breaking the alien codes, Chen studied the tactical display. 3 enemy ships remained, the massive battlecruiser and 2 smaller destroyers. The aliens were finally treating the time's Defiant Times as a serious threat, but Chen suspected it was too late for them to change the outcome of the battle. Got it, Park announced triumphantly. Their communications are now open to us. They're planning to attack simultaneously from 3 different vectors, trying to overwhelm our defensive systems. Perfect, Chen said with that dangerous smile her crew knew so well. Webb, plot an intercept course for the battle cruiser. We're going to end this quickly. Captain, are you sure? Webb asked. That ship is 10 times our size. Its weapons could cut us in half. Only if they can hit us, Chen replied. And I don't intend to give them that chance. Rodriguez, I need everything you can give me from the engines. We're going in fast and hard. Yes, ma'am. You'll have full power in 30 seconds. The Times Defiant Times suddenly burst from the asteroid field at maximum acceleration, heading directly for the alien battlecruiser. The move was so unexpected and seemingly suicidal that the alien commander hesitated for a crucial moment, uncertain how to respond to this aggressive approach. That moment of hesitation was all Chen needed. Her ship closed the distance rapidly, using its superior speed and agility to get inside the battlecruiser's defensive perimeter before the massive ship could bring its weapons to bear effectively. Once close enough, the Times Defiant Times unleashed everything it had. Hidden weapon systems that had never appeared on any official blueprint opened fire simultaneously, creating a devastating barrage that focused on the battlecruiser's most vulnerable points. The alien ship's shields flared and collapsed under the unexpected assault. Armor plating that had been designed to withstand the weapons of other alien fleets proved inadequate against human technology that had been specifically designed for maximum destructive potential. Multiple hits on the battlecruiser, Webb reported, his voice filled with amazement. We're actually damaging that monster. Keep firing, Chen ordered. Target their weapon systems and engines. I want that ship dead in space. The battle had become a deadly dance, with the smaller Times, Defiant Times circling the massive battlecruiser like a wolf attacking a bear, striking fast and then moving before the larger ship could respond effectively. The battlecruiser's massive bulk shuddered under the Times Defiant Asterisks' relentless assault. What should have been an impossible fight had turned into a systematic dismantling of the alien fleet's most powerful ship. Explosions bloomed across the battlecruiser's hull as critical systems failed one after another. Enemy engines are offline, Webb reported with barely contained excitement. Their main weapons array is also showing significant damage. Captain Chen allowed herself a small smile as she watched the tactical display. The 2 remaining destroyers were trying to come to their flagship's aid, but they were having to navigate through the debris field created by their own destroyed ships, slowing their approach considerably. Park, what are the aliens saying to each other now? Chen asked. Communications. Specialist Park's face was grim as she translated the intercepted transmissions. They're panicking, Captain. The battlecruiser's commander is demanding to know what kind of ship we are. They keep referring to something called the Human War Protocols and asking if this is a trap. War protocols? Chen raised an eyebrow. Interesting. What else are they saying? The destroyer captains want to withdraw immediately. They're arguing with the battlecruiser's commander about whether to continue the attack or flee. It sounds like they're genuinely terrified. Chen felt a cold satisfaction at those words. Good. Fear was exactly what she wanted them to feel. For too long, alien raiders had preyed on human shipping, thinking that humans were weak and easy targets. It was time to remind the galaxy why that was a very dangerous assumption. Chief Rodriguez, Chen called to her engineer. How are our weapon systems holding up? All green, Captain. We've used about 40% of our missile inventory, but we've got plenty left for these last 2 ships. Excellent. Webb, target the battlecruiser's bridge. Let's end this. The Times, Defiant Times, swung around the battlecruiser's bulk, positioning itself for a final killing blow. The alien ship tried to bring its remaining weapons to bear, but without engine power, it was effectively helpless against the human vessel's superior maneuverability. A concentrated barrage of plasma bolts and kinetic projectiles slammed into the battlecruiser's command section. The alien ship's bridge disappeared in a brilliant explosion, taking with it any hope of coordinated resistance from the remaining enemy forces. Battlecruiser is dead in space, Webb announced. No signs of life from the command sections. Good. Now let's deal with the stragglers. The 2 remaining destroyers had finally realized that they were not facing an ordinary mining vessel. They were attempting to withdraw from the battle, their engines straining to put distance between themselves and the deadly human ship that had just destroyed their entire fleet. But Chen had no intention of letting them escape. These aliens had come here planning to murder her crew and take them as slaves. They had threatened innocent human beings simply because they thought humans were weak. That kind of aggression could not go unpunished. "Pursuit course," she ordered. "Maximum acceleration." The Times, defiant Times, shot forward like an arrow, rapidly closing the distance to the fleeing destroyers. The alien ships were fast, but they had not been designed for sustained high-speed flight. The human vessel, on the other hand, had engines that could maintain maximum thrust for hours if necessary. The first destroyer tried to turn and fight, its captain perhaps hoping that a desperate last stand might somehow save his ship. It was a brave decision, but ultimately futile. The Times' defiant asterisk's weapons tore through the destroyer's defenses in seconds, leaving nothing but an expanding cloud of superheated gas where the ship had been. The final destroyer continued fleeing, broadcasting what sounded like surrender calls on multiple frequencies. Chen listened to the translations with cold indifference. "They're begging for mercy," Park reported quietly. "The captain is saying they were only following orders. That they didn't know humans were capable of this level of resistance." "Too late for that," Chen replied. "They should have thought about mercy before they threatened to enslave my crew." The last enemy ship died in silence, its reactor overloading after taking critical damage from the Times' defiant asterisk's final missile salvo. 7 alien warships had entered the asteroid belt confident in their superiority. None would be returning home to report their failure. Chen stood in the sudden quiet of her bridge, watching the debris clouds that marked the graves of their enemies. Her crew worked efficiently to secure their weapons and begin damage assessment, but she could see the questions in their eyes. "Captain," Lieutenant Webb said carefully, "those aliens seemed to know something about humans and war. They mentioned protocols, and asked if this was a trap. What do you think they meant?" Chen was quiet for a long moment, considering how much to tell them. Her crew were good people, loyal and brave, but they were also civilians. They didn't need to know all the details about humanity's real capabilities or the reputation that humans had earned throughout the galaxy. "The truth is," she said finally, "humans have a certain reputation among alien species. Most of them see us as primitive and weak because we're relatively new to interstellar travel. But a few species have learned that appearances can be deceiving." She moved to the main view screen, which now showed the peaceful asteroid field, with no sign of the battle that had just taken place, except for some scattered debris. "You see, most alien species evolved on worlds that were relatively stable and peaceful. They developed advanced technology and spaceflight without ever really learning how to fight. War, for them, is a formal affair with rules and protocols." Chief Engineer Rodriguez looked up from his damage report. "And humans? Humans evolved on a death world," Chen said quietly. "Earth is a planet where everything is trying to kill everything else. Natural disasters, predators, diseases, climate changes that could wipe out entire civilizations. We learned to fight and adapt and survive because we had to." She turned back to her crew, seeing understanding beginning to dawn in their faces. "When humans finally reached the stars, we brought that survival instinct with us. Most aliens fight wars to gain territory or resources. Humans fight wars to survive. And there's a big difference between those two mindsets." "Communications," Specialist Park frowned thoughtfully. "So when those aliens mentioned war protocols, they were talking about our reputation?" "Exactly. There are species out there that know better than to attack human ships, even civilian ones. They've learned that humans don't just have weapons. We have the will to use them effectively. We don't surrender. We don't give up. And we definitely don't forgive threats to our people." Webb nodded slowly. "That's why you were so confident we could win, even against 7 warships." "That's part of it," Chen agreed. "But the main reason we won is because we did what humans do best. We adapted. We saw a threat coming, and we prepared for it. We didn't just build a ship that looked harmless while carrying hidden weapons. We trained to use those weapons effectively, and we developed tactics that would give us an advantage." She moved back to her command chair, feeling the weight of command and the responsibility for her crew's safety. The galaxy is full of species that think humans are weak because our technology is newer, or because we don't have vast empires spanning hundreds of star systems. What they don't understand is that humans don't need vast empires to be dangerous. We just need a reason to fight. The bridge was quiet as her crew absorbed this information. Finally, Rodriguez broke the silence. "Captain, what do we do now? When word of this battle gets out, won't other alien groups come looking for revenge?" Chen smiled. And this time, there was no coldness in it. Just quiet confidence. "Let them come," she said simply. "This ship and this crew just proved something important today. We proved that humans are not easy prey, that we're not helpless victims waiting to be enslaved or robbed." She looked around at each member of her crew, seeing the pride and determination in their faces. Word of this battle will spread throughout the galaxy. Other species will learn that attacking human ships is not the safe, profitable activity they thought it was. Some will decide it's not worth the risk, others will try anyway. And they'll discover what those 7 ships discovered today. Lieutenant Webb checked his sensors one final time. "All clear, Captain. No other ships in sensor range." "Good. Set course for the mining station. We have a cargo hold full of rare minerals and a crew that deserves hazard pay for this trip." As the Defiant Times began moving toward its original destination, Chen reflected on the battle they had just fought. 7 alien warships had approached what they thought was a helpless mining vessel. They had planned to murder or enslave 12 human beings simply because they believed humans were weak. Instead, they had encountered something far more dangerous than they could have imagined: humans who refused to be victims, who had prepared for the worst, and were willing to fight with everything they had to protect themselves and their way of life. The aliens had been defeated before they knew what hit them. Not because of superior technology or overwhelming numbers, but because they had fundamentally misunderstood what they were dealing with. They had expected to find prey, and instead had found predators. That, Chen knew, was the real power of humanity among the stars. Not their ships or weapons, but their absolute refusal to surrender in the face of overwhelming odds. It was a lesson that would echo through the galaxy for generations to come.